thing I can see that it's actually showing up in. All right, welcome everybody to this CodeHS session on equity through pathways, practices, and projects. If you'd like to introduce yourself in the chat, that would be great. Just toss in your name, where you teach. And then we also have a link at the bottom that we'll toss into the chat as well that has the complete slide deck that we're using today. And it has all the links that we'll be referring to and everything in that. So don't worry about having to write down links or anything. We've provided all that for you. And we hope you're having a good day so far in the conference. Welcome, Georgia teachers. All right. We also like to take attendance, and we have a quick attendance link. This does not gather any personal identifying information. It's just a really quick check, like a tick off, so that we know how many people attended our session. So we'll toss that into the chat as well. I'm just looking at the chat. Katrina's from Paulding County. Hello. John is City Schools of Decatur, Middle School Design and Engineering. Cool. And we also have with us Jimmy and Pintu. Thanks for joining us, everybody. All right, so with me today, well, first, I'm Leah. I'm the Director of Professional Development. With me today, I have Lori. She is our PD specialist, and you can see her on camera. She's waving right now. We also have Bianca. She is our Customer Success Manager, and she works with a lot of the organizations in Georgia. And we have Jennifer Campbell with us today. I think she's joining us or has, just checking real fast. If not, she'll pop in a little bit later, not a big deal. She is our curriculum developer, and she developed all of the Georgia-specific courses that we'll be talking about today as well. So that's everybody who's with us. We have a question parking lot document, and this is just for if a lot of questions start flowing through the chat and we don't want to miss any, or if there are questions that are a little not related to what we're talking about, just questions about CodeHS or whatever. If you could toss those into the parking lot document, that would be really great. And that way, if we don't get it answered in today's session, we can follow up with you later. All right, so let's dive in. So here's our agenda, and it's going to be a little bit fast-paced, so hang on, but we will provide all the links and everything for you. But we're going to look at the CodeHS courses and pathways with a specific lens that we're going to look through, and that's equity. We're going to look at the middle school courses, the high school courses, and then the new ones we have for 21, 22 coming out. They are super cool. And then we're going to look at the Georgia-specific courses that we have with CodeHS. And the last part of the session, we will look at teacher tools and resources. We're going to take a peek at our real-time collaboration tool, which is pretty new. It's just a couple of months old, but it's a great way to help students be able to access materials and be able to learn together in an equitable way. So some students might need pair programming to get through some assignments, or they might need to work in groups, and that's a great tool for that. But we'll look at that in just a little bit. Whoops. All right, so if you do not have a CodeHS account, which is totally fine, we have a link here where you can sign up for it. It is completely free, and most of the things we're going to be showing you today are totally free on CodeHS. The curriculum is completely free. Sometimes teachers come to us and say, well, I thought everything was pro or paid for. Not true. All of our curriculum, all the courses that I'm going to show you today, 100% free for your use. So you can sign up for an account with that link, and we'll also have a demo course that I'll show you in just a second, but I'll give people a chance to do that. If you already have an account, awesome, go ahead and log into that because we'll be using it a little bit in today's session. And if you just want to sit back and watch for today, that's totally fine too, we understand. All right, so we do have a like a demo course for you to enroll in today. And this is, once you sign up with your teacher account, you'll be enrolled in this course as a student, and you'll be able to see the course that we've set up for you. And the cool thing is that the one we've set up for you is a Georgia-specific course. It's the Introduction to Digital Technology. And We'll put the link in the chat area, but basically once you've signed into CodeHS, take that link, paste it into a fresh browser window, and then you'll get a pop-up that asks you for the course ID. That course ID is always the last 5 characters at the end of that URL string. And this is exactly the way your students would join a course as well. So give everybody a minute to do that. Yeah, Lori brings up a good point. You can also join the demo section after today if you just want to sit back and watch. That's totally fine. Okay, so maybe you've heard of CodeHS, maybe you have not, but we wanted to give just a little bit of background on what we are as a company. The main word we use to describe CodeHS is comprehensive. We have 6th through 12th grade web-based computer science curriculum that's totally free. We have online and offline professional development, and we've got a full software platform with all kinds of teacher tools and resources. So comprehensive, we've got it all. It's a one-stop shop, not to say that you can't bring in other resources, and you can totally customize our courses. So it is possible to, if you have other outside things that you want to bring into our courses, you can do that. We'll talk about that just a little bit. So our mission at CodeHS is to empower all students to meaningfully impact the future. And that little tagline you see there, read, write, code, we believe this 150%, that coding is just as much of a fundamental skill as reading and writing is. With that said, I think, and anybody who's in this audience, maybe speaking to the choir a little bit here, we believe that access and equity is a really important part of bringing courses and content to students. So we need to provide opportunities for all students to learn and engage with computer science. Since it's a fundamental skill, it can satisfy personal curiosity and creativity. It's a great way of thinking about solving problems like decomposing and coding. And it also helps students be socially responsible. So it's not just about coding, but also digital citizenship. And then, of course, as we all know, there are a gazillion opportunities in the computer science realm with software engineering, cybersecurity, and all of that. So in general, when students have access to computer science in school, they're more likely to say they're very interested in learning it. That's suggesting that exposure to these opportunities is really key to piquing students' interest in the first place. That kind of talks about the access piece. What we're going to look at today is a little bit beyond that, and that's the equity. And the first gateway to equity is access, but equity depends on fairness and inclusion. And it really boils down to what good teaching boils down to. So forming relationships with your students, gathering information on their interests, how they like to learn, and meeting each student where they're at and focusing on engaging each student. It's not about making everything different for every single student, but deciding what's fair and inclusive overall. So the way that we want to frame this session is, what are all the ways you can support diverse learners? And what you're going to see that you can do through all the courses that we have is you can really customize content for your student. You can customize what kind of content they can access so that you can really speak to that equity piece and make it fair and inclusive for everybody. All right, so before I jump into our courses and our pathways, and especially the Georgia-specific ones, I want to get a quick pulse on whether you teach middle school or high school. And I know a few people have put that in the introduction, and that's great. But also, what computer science courses are you currently teaching, or will you be teaching? So 2 things, middle school or high school, and what courses? Just toss that into the chat. Okay, I see high school, middle school, currently high school next year. Oh, I made that transition myself. It was a cool jump. Middle school, Foundations of Interactive Design, cool. APCSA, APCSP, Web Development, Intro to Digital Tech, awesome. The course we have you in for the demo course today is exactly that course, our version of it. CSP, oh, cool. I teach math and currently CSP with code.org, okay. High school, Middle school foundations. Oh, this is awesome. I love it. It is a wide range of backgrounds. So hopefully we're going to be able to address all of your questions about our courses and your needs and things like that. But I want to frame this and let you know some things that we won't be going over today, but you can peek at later. You can completely customize any course on CodeHS. You can bring in all the courses I'm going to show you. You can delete lessons. You can delete modules. You can delete activities. You can bring in your own materials. You can also move modules around. You can completely customize it. In theory, you could come to CodeHS and build a course that had nothing to do with computer science and just use it as a learning management system. That's how customizable our platform really is. So as we're going through these courses and pathways, think about ways that you could cobble together courses that make sense for your students. Another piece we're not going to talk about, but we will share the links for how to do it, is access controls for individual students. So this is a pro feature, but it allows you to decide which students are going to get which things in your courses. And this is great for creating equity. So maybe some students do one project and other students do a different project, or maybe you build in scaffolding around those projects so that certain students have a little more access and equity within your courses. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. So what you see on your screen right now is the major pathway of the CodeHS courses. So we have, I think, like 60 standard courses, and then we've built a lot of state courses, and we even build courses for specific districts and organizations. So you can have really customized courses, but this is sort of the general flow of things. We start out with Carol the dog or Tracy the turtle. Introduction to the internet, world of computing, cyber, and then students can work through things like web design, computing ideas, all the way through like an intro to computer science in high school with JavaScript or Python, and then APCSP and APCSA. So we have a wide range of courses you can pick from. So let's take a look at the first one. So for middle school, we have Introduction to Programming with Carol the dog. This is 1 quarter, great entry point into computer science. And I'm actually going to share out a quick link. Let me find it here, where you can see, this will jump you into the editor. So if you're in our demo course, this will open up this example in the editor. So you can see how it works. You can play around with it a little bit. It's a Carol the dog exercise, which is a great way to start teaching computer science. You can also toggle between blocks and text in Carol. Okay, we have a companion course for that that's Introduction to Python with Tracy, and you can do all kinds of graphical things with Tracy as well. And then in the middle school level, we have web design as well with HTML and CSS, and the little animated Jiffy that you can see here just shows a student making a basic hi, my name is Carol page, and the students get to make their own web pages in this course. This can be a semester or a full year course. We also have Introduction to Cybersecurity. It includes digital literacy and cyber hygiene. It's a 1 semester course, and what you're seeing here is a threat attack, like a simulation. There are a lot of really cool simulations in these courses. So we have a foundations course, a fundamentals course, and then also an advanced cyber course. And remember where I mentioned Jennifer at the beginning in the introductions? She also built these courses, and they are phenomenal. Lots of really cool simulations and coding and exercises. Also at the middle school level, we have World of Computing. So that has the Programming with Carol in it, but also what is computing? And that includes things like devices and hardware, software, networking, those kinds of things. That's a 1 semester course. And then they have Introduction to Internet that has HTML, CSS. It includes digital information. So what you're seeing right here is a project or a lesson on binary and how students can use binary and hexadecimal and learn about the numbering system. So this is just such a small sampling of what's in the courses. I really encourage you to dive into the course catalog, which we'll share with you in a little bit, and see all the different things that you can do. And you can work through the courses as a student, so you get a real sense of, well, what will my kids think of this when they see these activities? Last year, we introduced a physical computing course with microbit for the middle school level, so that's available. We also have computing ideas. This is a great survey course. So if you're not sure, if you're starting on a pathway and you're not sure where to build a pathway from, it's a good first course. So it's a nice survey course for computer science topics. And then it has web design and Carol the dog. And it can be semester or full year. Creative computing is mostly focused on projects. All the courses have projects, but this one is primarily just project driven. It has Carol, Tracy, web design, and it can be semester or full year as well. Then we get to the high school courses. So my high school teachers and the person who mentioned they were moving from middle school to high school gear up for these. So we have Introduction to Computer Science and JavaScript. This can be semester or full year. And what we're showing right here is our classic breakout game that is at the end of the course. So you can see the graphics can be really, really cool in our development environment. This is just a sampling. We have the companion course for Python 3. So it's another introduction to computer science, only this one's in Python 3. And what you're seeing right here is a hangman game that the students can build as well. So as you're looking at all these projects and pathways, you can be thinking about the different ways that you could meet your students' needs because they all come with different backgrounds and different situations, but you can absolutely customize how you build out the course and all the different components you can add to it. We also have Introduction to Web Design at the high school level. This one adds on Bootstrap, so students are able to do more dynamic kinds of things with JavaScript in a semester or full year course. And then cybersecurity. So we have Introduction to Cybersecurity, Fundamentals of Cyber, and Advanced Cybersecurity. And these can be semester or full year courses. And the little example we're showing here is the Visionaire Cipher. So obviously they get into cryptography and things like that in the cyber courses. We have a VR course. So for my AP teachers, this might be a fun release break after going through the exams next month. It's about 4 to 6 weeks. Maybe they can do it a little bit faster, but it's very different than Java or anything they're doing in computer science principles. So it might be a nice way for them to blow off some steam after working through the exam. We have a mobile apps course using React Native. This one we recommend to do after like an AP course. It's a little more advanced, but it can be a semester or a full year. And as of last year, we introduced a physical computing course for Arduino for the high school level. I'm going to say this again, all these courses are totally free and you can customize them completely for free on CodeHS. And last but not least, we have the advanced placement courses. So we've got AP Computer Science Principles, 2 versions, JavaScript and Python. So if you did Intro to CS with Python, maybe you do the CSP version in JavaScript or vice versa. They include loads of things on the Create Performance task to get your students ready for that task. And there's also a review course for the end of year multiple choice exam. And what you're seeing here is a little Pac-Man game that they build in JavaScript. And then we have AP Computer Science A in Java, and what you're seeing here is the Battleship game that they work on in this course. There's also a review course for the end of year multiple choice and all those free response questions that they have to do with hand coding. Interdisciplinary modules. These are great for middle school students, or if you're teaching something other than computer science, it's a great way to introduce computer science into those courses. So for middle school or high school, we've got coding and music, coding and art, coding and sports. These are nice, lightweight modules. You can take out maybe just one lesson, or you can do the entire module over a couple of weeks. It's really your choice. And then at the high school level, we have exploring collisions in physics, bouncing ball simulation, Punnett square generator, But I have a little bit of information for you. There's gonna be more of those coming. So that's something for 21-22 I'll talk about in just a second. Oh, right now. So for 21-22, here's what's coming. At CodeHS, we believe we will always want to push the boundaries and offer as many courses as we can for students to increase that access and to increase equity, because there's students who may really light onto computer science and go, I want to learn more about AI. I want to learn more about game design and Unity. So we are making these courses. We're going to have an introduction to artificial intelligence. This will be a high school course, semester long. Ideally, students should have a little bit of Python 3 before that. But the students will learn the implications of AI on society, and then they're going to develop a series of projects that illustrate all the ways that they can use artificial intelligence. And then this is a really popular one, it sounds like, from teachers giving us feedback: game design in Unity. So students will utilize modeling, storytelling, programming, and user interfaces to basically make their own games. There's no prerequisite for this. It's high school, and it is a year-long course. These will be launching sometime in the middle of the summer. And I'm just going to peek at my chat in case any questions flew in. Not just yet. I can pause though. Any questions about any of the courses so far? I hope I'm igniting some interest in some of the things you can do with your students. Even if you just light onto one of them, like, oh, I could really use that, and this would create some pathways for students that are interested in certain topics. Hopefully this is doing that. We're also going to have a data science course. I believe Jennifer's doing this one, so it's going to be amazing. This will introduce students to the essential skills of data science. It does have some Python in it, so it would be good if students have Python before they take this course. It'll be a semester course at the high school level. And then a pretty advanced course we're going to have is data structures in C++. So this is something probably after APCSA. It will be a high school course, and it is a year-long one. And then we're going to have international baccalaureate courses, both at the high school level, obviously, standard level, and the higher level. These are year-long courses because we've had requests for having these courses in different arenas. And remember, a few minutes ago, I said we're going to have more interdisciplinary modules for 2021. We're going to have coding in math and coding in science. These will be middle school and high school. They're literally individual units you can pull out and pull into math or pull into science, or you could do them as part of your coding classes. So if you build a course on CodeHS, you can absolutely pull in one of these modules and do some integration, which could bring in, pull in some more interesting things for students to do outside of just straight coding and some of the projects that are available. All right, so maybe the moment you've really been waiting for, the Georgia-specific courses. So we do have an education guide for Georgia that has all of our courses listed, and we'll share the link out for that. I'm gonna go through this in just a second, but we have it's just a short little document that says all the courses that we have for Georgia. Here's the pathway for Georgia that we have. So World of Computing, and this satisfies your standards, is for 5th grade, 6th grade. Introduction to Programming with Carol the Dog that I already talked about, both of those courses, 5th grade, 6th grade. And then we've custom made this course for Georgia, the Foundations of Secure Information Systems and the Foundations of Computer Programming. And then the Georgia Introduction to Digital Technology. And that's the demo course that you're enrolled in, so you can absolutely look at that from a student perspective. And then APCSP and then APCSA. So we have built out this pathway for you. So the Foundations of the Secure Systems at the middle school level, this is designed to be taught in like a 9-week rotation on a quarter. So these are 45-minute classes. We don't have time to go through this course in detail, but we have the course overview, the syllabus, and then the standards mapping that goes with that. But this gives students skills in looking at research careers and in the IT area. And then we also have at the same level, this is also a quarter-long course for middle school, Georgia Foundations of Computer Programming. So students have different opportunities to research careers and also look at the coding aspect of of computer science. So there's a course overview, a syllabus, and a standards mapping. And then last but not least, the Georgia Introduction to Digital Technology. This is the high school course. It's a one-year course, and it gives students foundational knowledge in hardware, software programming, web design, IT support, and networks. And these are all hands-on activities and very project-focused. So there's a course overview, syllabus, and the standards mapping. And if that wasn't enough, we have the Georgia IT Pathways, and that's the same document we tossed into the chat a few minutes ago, but I'm just going to show you one piece of that. We have all the different standards and how they're met on this particular pathway. So this is the IT pathway and how they're met in different courses through CodeHS, and also the ones that we've designed for Georgia specifically. All right, I'm going to pause. I know that was a lot. Think about all the courses that are available, and hopefully you lit on one of those. You can absolutely enroll yourself as a student in a course and see what are all the things that are available. And then once you're ready, if you decide to build a course or just use one out of the box, it's very easy to create a section and teach it completely on free and just test it out with your students and see if you like the materials. But you can absolutely bring in other modules, other lessons from other courses and those kinds of things, and make it equitable for your students and give them different opportunities for learning computer science. Okay. Oh, I see some excitement in the chat. I'm excited too. Thank you so much. I do want to see though if Jennifer, she's in the room, if there's anything else I should add to what they might need to know about the Georgia, any of the Georgia pathways, either the Georgia courses or the IT pathways. Can we bring her on? Not seeing my, the moderation panel. Oh, here she is. Okay, we'll bring her on camera, and if there's anything she wants to speak to about these courses. She's an amazing curriculum developer. The Georgia courses and the cyber courses, check them out.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Definitely.
Okay, so the only thing, you basically covered it all, but I did want to just let anyone know, like, if there is a pathway that we're close to covering, it would just make it so much easier to just kind of input, like Leah was saying before, just input some stuff that might be missing, which we might get eventually. But for right now, we have a lot of partial matches to some of the pathways. So we absolutely have material that you can pick and choose and use, and then add on top of as well.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So, how could I forget this one? We just have so much stuff. Jennifer did this course too. She's just a superwoman. We have the GAZE course. So this is the prep course to get you ready for the Georgia Assessment for Certification of Educators for Computer Science. It's a 55-hour course. It's 100% aligned. We'll toss the flyer for that in there. But if you're getting ready to take the GAZE at any time in the near future or down the road, definitely check out this course because it will help you get ready to pass that. Really, it's kind of hard. It's a hard test. It's computer science and pedagogy and all of that. So we wanted to make you aware that we have this course to help you get ready for that too. All right. And we've put the course catalog into the chat, I think, a couple times, but this is definitely where you can check out everything that's available that we have. All right. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to turn this over to Lori.
Stop. Yep. Hey, everybody. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and try to share my screen. Make sure I get the right one. And I might be just a little bit laggy. So if that happens, I'm going to shut my video off. And actually, I might just do that. You don't need to see me. I'll go ahead and do that. And then hopefully that helps us just a little bit. So I am super excited to talk a little bit at a really high level about some of the tools and resources that you have available in the CodeHS platform. Leah just gave an amazing overview of the courses that we offer. And there are so many Georgia courses as well. Jennifer has been very hard at work. We don't let her sleep. So she just keeps working on Georgia stuff. So, so much stuff out there. And I actually get very, very excited too when I talk about this. Before I came to CodeHS, I was actually a CodeHS teacher. And a little fact about that, for all of the years that I used CodeHS in my classroom, I never got to use the pro version. So I used the free version since about 2014 until about 2019. And during that time, I taught face-to-face classes with CodeHS, and I also taught several classes a semester that were fully online, and I did that with the CodeHS platform on the free plan. Now, there are a ton of bells and whistles that come with the pro plan, and if you are one of the teachers that might be lucky enough to use that, it's awesome, but you can do this for free as well. So let's go ahead and jump into this. This is going to be a fast overview, and hopefully I can pique your interest with some of these tools that I'm going to share quickly with you. So this is just some of the things we're going to take a look at. We're going to take a little look at where you can find the solutions, because you do definitely have access to solutions, where you can find the syllabi for any of our courses, and then a quick look at lesson plans. And I'll actually throw another little tidbit in there just to, so you know where to go to look for a few things. And then we're going to take a quick look at the real-time collaboration tool. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and jump out to the CodeHS platform. So if you've never experienced CodeHS, if this is your first time checking out CodeHS and you haven't really seen it from a teacher perspective yet, I wanted to give you just a quick overview of what that looks like. So right now I'm just in my sections page, and I actually went into our demo section for this session today. You can see that we have a few people enrolled. There might be more. I just need to refresh my screen. We might have a few more people who joined us. And this is what teachers will generally see when they enter a section. You'll see any teachers. Many times it might just be yourself. I know I've done a lot of co-teaching before this too. And so I see all the teachers that are on a section, and then all my students. So I'm going to take a look across the top and start looking at some of these tools. And to get into this, I'm going to click on assignments. And we'll let that get to the assignments page. I apologize, it's just a little bit slow for me with my video. All right, so here's our assignments view. So this is the way that teachers can actually view assignments. And you can view these from a student perspective as well, but the assignments page is a great place to go for a lot of reasons. One of the little tidbits I do want to throw in here, and Leah mentioned this too, when we're thinking about how we can reach each of our students and really, bring them what they need to be successful in our courses. She mentioned modifying courses. You can do that from the assignments page. You can absolutely add some modules. You can add lessons here. You can add your own custom lessons. If you're a fan of things like Pear Deck, or one of my favorites is Flipgrid, love Flipgrid, you can embed those things into the CodeHS platform. As Leah mentioned, you can use the CodeHS platform as an LMS, so you can bring your own tools and resources into CodeHS, into any of your sections. So the other thing that I did want to show you from here, there's a ton of stuff we can show you, but we're limited, so I'll show you what I can today. So these are all of the modules in our, I think this is the Intro to Digital Technology course. So I'm going to go ahead and expand digital citizenship and cyber hygiene. And now I can see all of the lessons that are available. Now I can keep expanding that, and I can see the activities here. But what I want to show you is this little red icon on the right-hand side. That's going to show me some lesson plans. So I want to see the lesson plan for what is cybersecurity. So I'll go ahead and click that. And I think I actually have it open already. So I might just abandon that and just move over to there. All right, so this is the lesson plan. Okay, maybe that didn't help me. There we go. It's showing up now. So here's the lesson plan for what is cybersecurity. So on a CodeHS lesson plan, you're going to see the description for the lesson, the objectives for the lesson. All of the activities that are included in that lesson are also linked here as well. You'll see some of these options are in the Pro plan. But again, you still have access to all the slides and all of, the quizzes. You just simply can't print them on the free. There might be a few ways around that, but you can't easily click that button. And then you have some links to the solution references. This is a great way to get to the solutions, especially if you're in, I know where I used the solutions a lot was with coding exercises. A long, long time ago, well over 20 years ago, I was an English teacher. So when I first came to computer science, I definitely needed those solutions. And not gonna lie, I still need those solutions today. So this is where you can get these. And you can absolutely access those on both free plans or pro plans. You do not have to be a pro teacher to get the solutions. If there are problem guides available, you would see those here. And often, most of the problem guides are available on the pro plan, but you already have access to the solution, so that's totally fine. Then you see any vocabulary here. And if there are any offline handouts or just handouts that go along with the lesson, you can access those from the lesson plan as well. Then you're going to see a lot of planning notes, as well as some other instructional strategies. And so when you're thinking about, well, how do I approach this lesson? You can certainly take a look at the lesson plan for some ideas on how to do that. There's the slides again. And then one of my favorite pieces is the discussion questions that you see on the lesson plan. This is another great place to come for some inspiration on how to approach the lesson, maybe how to implement some exit tickets for your lesson. So that's another place that I really like to come. You're going to see some standards. And then oftentimes in here, you're going to get some information on how to modify your lessons based on different student populations. If you have some ELL students, you'll see some modifications for that. If you have maybe just some other populations as well, you're going to see those modification possibilities in the lesson plans here. So lesson plans are awesome. I think those are one of my favorite resources, just because everything is linked there and it's really a one-stop shop to get to all of my resources for a lesson. Now, if I want to see some of the other resources that are available, on the left-hand side, I can click on resources. And I'm going to see some tiles for the other resources that are available here too. So you'll see the link for the lesson plans up here, handouts here, problem guides. And then if I scroll down, I just want to point this out. You can get to a link that includes all of the syllabi for all the courses here and your solution references. I always like to make sure to point that out several times because I do know that oftentimes people on the free plan or teachers using the free plan don't think they get solutions, but I promise you do. You get these references, so you can absolutely access those here. All right. So that was a lot of info about some of the resources. Whoops. That's all right. We'll jump back over here. I knew I'd click something wrong. I better have it open in 14 tabs, right? All right, so we're back here to our lesson plan again. So does anybody have questions about that? All right, don't see any questions in chat yet. I'll try to keep an eye on that. Okay, so now I want to show you one of the other really amazing tools that we have, and this is fairly new, and it is so much fun. We're going to talk about the Sandbox. This is a great tool to use to really let students explore what they can do with coding. I see so many creative programs written completely by students, and it is so much fun to see what they can come up with, and they can use the Sandbox to do that. I think this is one of the most amazing tools to really allow students to have an opportunity to really show what they can do and have a voice in what they're doing in this course or in any of the computer science courses. So you can see here that I can create a program, and I've actually got a list of programs that I've started. I'm just going to walk through creating a new program. We'll just say it's a test program. When I click create, you'll see all of the different program types that I have available to me. So I can create JavaScript programs, Java programs, Python, which by the way happens to be my favorite, so love the Python stuff. You can create HTML, C++, SQL, and then some others here. So I'm going to go ahead and close that for right now. And I'm going to take us to one that I've already started. So I have a Python program started here. Tracy the Turtle. I've got just a few commands. It's nothing too special. But Tracy's going to run through this program, draw some lines. Cool. And it says hello world at the end. So this is the start of my program. I can do a few things with this. I can share this. You can, and you as a teacher actually can assign a Sandbox program to your students. Now, if I share it, I can share out the code. I can share out the app. I can embed this, or I can collaborate. So when I click on collaborate, I get this link, and I can share this link to invite people to my room. So I'm going to go ahead and share this. I'm going to put this in the chat, and I would love it if some of you would go ahead and click on that. So what's going to happen when you click that is I'm going to start to see more little icons show up here at the top. Yay, look at all that. Now, what I would love for you to do is please go ahead and start adding some code. You can copy and paste if you're not sure how to do Python. Awesome. I'm not doing that. I'm going to go ahead and try to turn my video back on because I'm getting really excited and I want you to see me. We'll go ahead and let that run a little bit. And you can run it on your end as well. I can run it over on my end to see how it's going. And you'll absolutely see whoever is contributing. Now, we should be starting to see some names here as well, but I think since I've just shared this, it's not really with a group or one of my classes. We're probably going to see guests show up here. But what an amazing tool to allow students to come together into groups and work on programming exercises together, to work on projects together. So this has been immensely popular, and it is just like a Google Doc. Really, you see exactly who is coding. You can go back and see the history of this again. Now, some important things to keep in mind with this is that once the person who shares this closes it, it's no longer available to collaborate in. Now, the users can go ahead and copy the program or fork that code so they can have a copy for themselves. But it's important to know that the person who shares it has to keep it open in order for the collaboration to continue. So I can definitely leave this open for a bit afterwards, just in case you want to play a little bit. Or you could go to the Sandbox and try it on your own and collaborate with your colleagues. So really, really cool option for this. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, Leah just tossed in to the chat a help or a knowledge base article on our real-time collaboration tool. I just love seeing the kind of collaboration that can happen here. And don't be shy. If you are in the program, go ahead, type some stuff. You can mess up the code if you want. I'm definitely okay with that. Give it a try. All right, so I'll go ahead and leave that open for now. Let's go ahead and jump back to our slides. We're going to see what else I missed. So we talked about lesson plans and how you can see a lot of different teaching strategies there. And those suggested accommodations are great. It's just a great place to come to think about, well, you know, I've got this group of students and they're going to need some accommodations. How can I help them with that? So lots of ways to differentiate. I love the idea also of using the offline handouts as ways to differentiate. You can scaffold with them. You can use them in so many different ways. And again, you can see those different modifications for different student populations, advanced students, special education students, English language learners. And I have just a minute. I'm going to jump back in here to show you or point to a couple of other things. There are some tools on the Pro Plan that are awesome for some differentiation for individual students or individual groups of students. You can actually get to some access controls on the Pro Plan. And I'll give you a quick look at what that looks like. So you can decide which assignments or which modules, which lessons, which activities you want students to have assigned to them. You can do that on a section by section basis. This is moving just a little bit slow for me, but you can decide it on a section by section basis, or on the pro plan, you can also determine who has access to different items and who has different items assigned on a student by student basis. And so if you have some special populations in your classes where you really need to think about, what you're assigning them, or you need to scaffold in a different way, or maybe add some more content just specifically for a student who's very, very advanced, you can definitely do that with these access controls as well. And again, that is on the pro plan, but I did want to mention that because it is a pretty cool feature. We talked a little bit about problem guides and those solution references. Remember, if you are a free teacher, you have access to those. Oh, and the course syllabi, I didn't show you that too much, but that is going to be, again, in those resources. You can access the syllabi and you can see all of the pacing information for that course in the syllabi. And I included just a little bit of information here in the slides about the real-time collaboration tool. So you can see how to get started with that, how to collaborate. And also, I think in here, you'll see a few links as well to help you out with getting some more help on that. I would definitely recommend checking it out. It is a lot of fun, and it can be a real game changer, whether you are face-to-face, virtual, or blended in some way. All right, and one more resource that we wanted to talk about. One of the important pieces of really connecting with students in a computer science class is oftentimes to show them that, look, you might be interested in a different field. You might think computer science doesn't have anything to do with the field you're interested in. But there are so many fields where computer science and coding is going to be a critical component in that field. And so we have this blog, CodeHS blog called Coding in the Wild, and you can access that by going to codinginthewild.com. And I think I actually linked it to this title, so you can grab that if you're in the slides as well. And you can read about how coding is used in numerous different industries. And one of the other things I really like about this too is as students read through some of these blogs, they're also going to see themselves represented in these blogs as well. I think we all know that that's key to really helping students see themselves in a field, as if they can have a role model that they see in that field as well. And so this is going to be another really great place for students to come and see what can they do with coding, what can they do with computer science, and to actually be able to visualize themselves in that field. So I wanted to make sure to point that resource out to everybody. Now at the end, we've also included a ton of other resources from CodeHS. You can see we have a virtual learning guide. We have some free workshop links here. We have a lot of free workshops coming up in the next few weeks. So you can check those out and get registered if you'd like to learn more. We have also the knowledge base is linked right here. So help.codehs.com. A lot of those resources that have been getting tossed into the chat are available on the knowledge base. If you're not a member of our Facebook group, I would highly recommend to go ahead and join that. It is a very active group with a ton of just really good resources, all crowdsourced from so many other CS teachers. There is the teacher forum and some other resources on pair programming, peer review, and rubrics. And we have one last thing. If we could have you take a second to fill out a survey for us, we would love to hear how we did and what else we can bring to you. Is there anything you'd love to hear more about? We'd like to know what you need to better meet your needs. So if you could take a moment to fill out the survey, that would be great. Leah just tossed that into chat, and we just so appreciate your feedback on that. And we've been thrilled to be here with you today. This has been awesome. We love talking about CodeHS. We are all very passionate about CodeHS, so it has been awesome to be here. Leah?
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today and talking about equity and all the different ways you can use pathways and projects and practices and all the different tools that you can use to create equity for your students in your classes. So we know there was a lot in this session, but we do run other sessions that are more focused on certain topics. So absolutely check out our free PDs that is in that last link, but also don't hesitate to reach out. If you have questions, Lori and I love working with teachers. We love talking to you about how to plan and pace your course, what kind of tools are going to work well for you in the classroom. You can also reach out to Bianca. She can answer questions, and we're here to help. We hope you have a really good day at the rest of the conference, and thank you so much for joining us. All right, I think we can go ahead and close the room, and we can debrief. See ya.